Okay, everybody, let's go through the tarot for this full moon in the sign of Taurus. I have some cards pulled and I want to talk about the energy and connect it to the astrology. And so, for this full moon in the sign of Taurus, the first card that we have is postponement. Postponement. Yeah. Let's go through all the cards. And then we have fighting, postponement, fighting, Thunderbolt. I love this card. Okay, so let's go through these first three cards first. It feels like, yeah, postponement. So there's been something that we have all been feeling like we need to do. It's going to look differently for everybody, but something that you've been putting off, something that you've been postponing, something that you feel like there's this internal building of pressure, something that you know you need to release or you need to let go of, or maybe something that you need to start as well. There could be many things at the same time, but just looking at the things that we've been putting off, that we have been avoiding, that we haven't been wanting to do, that we haven't been wanting to deal with, and understanding how moving towards that thing is going to help us, go down the path that we are wanting. And really with this full moon, Uranus is making a really powerful aspect to Mars. It's opposing Mars. And so there is a need to throw off like the old ways of doing things, to shake it up, to go in a new direction, to break free from things that have been holding us back. And so it has been an internal battle, right? We have the postponement and then we have the fighting card. And so we've been, maybe fighting with ourselves about this thing, going back and forth about what we should do or how we should approach it, or fighting around, again, maybe not putting something out there, not starting something, not moving in the direction that you want. But it's been an internal battle, an internal conflict, an internal like push and pull of knowing that we need to do this thing, but not wanting to do the thing, or not wanting to deal with the repercussions of what's going to happen after we move in that direction. And so, the Thunderbolt card is just going to come in and probably push you off the cliff, push all of us off of the proverbial cliff, to force us to make this change. The Thunderbolt card, again, I really love it because look, it is like the person sitting and meditating and then the people that are just being blasted off of it. So this is necessary breakthroughs, necessary shakeups. Again, Uranus is the huge player in this full moon right now. Uranus wants radical authenticity. It wants self-expression. It wants innovation. It wants you to do things differently. It wants you to think outside of the box. It wants new, fresh ideas. And so it is electricity. That is Uranus. And this just happens to be the Thunderbolt card, right? With lightning flashes, ideas, awareness. So something could come through where it's like the lights flash on, you get that like aha moment and you see it clearly. And then it's up to you to move forward with that. And maybe you're postponing doing that because once you have that conversation, or once you, put that information out there, or whatever it is, there is an aspect of, needing to kind of go it alone. That is the next card. We have aloneness. And then we have celebration at the very end. So we love that. Okay. So the postponement, the putting things off, the internal fighting, and now there is something that could come. It could be internal or it could be external. Again, with Uranus, it is very unpredictable energy. And so something that is going to maybe push us in a new direction, or force us to finally do that thing. Uranus, again, it builds over time. It can be a slow burn, and then like all of a sudden it just flips the switch. Like it just comes in, the lights flash on, you get the message, you see it clearly, and you're just done with the situation. It's over, it's dead. And that is also what Scorpio and Taurus represent. Specifically, Scorpio is more about purging and releasing and letting go and shedding skin, literally excreting waste, letting go of toxins. And so, this is what's going on. And so as we move through that process, then getting to aloneness and celebration. Aloneness it's not a negative card, it's not lonely. The word is aloneness. It's not lonely with yourself. It is choosing to go on this journey. the inner journey, the deep reflection, and that's what's really coming throughout November. We have Mercury that's going retrograde. We have Jupiter that's going to be retrograde for a while. We already have Saturn, Neptune, and Uranus. That is half of the planets that are retrograde. So this is a need to go inward and to reflect and to think about what it is that we want and to reconsider the new path forward after so much has changed in our life, after the new information has come in, after these revelations and realizations that have come through with this full moon and with this fucking opposition to Uranus that is so strong. It's so powerful. It can be so beautiful, and you can work with that energy proactively. You can be aware of the things that need to shift, and then you can make that shift before Uranus shoves you into it. So it can be a really beautiful time, but it can also bring up a lot of grief and a lot of sadness and a lot of, it's a death, it's a loss, it's a letting go of something. Not necessarily, it's a loss of one thing and then entering into something new, but yeah, there can be sadness that comes with it, but it's not lonely. The card is not about being lonely. It's about aloneness. It's about reveling in your aloneness, choosing the times when it's better to be alone, choosing the times when you need to go inward and really reflecting on, what it is that we need so that we can move forward now with a new direction, because Mars is the planet that's getting the overhaul. Uranus is blasting Mars open right now and asking Mars kind of to reevaluate for all of us what we want. This is Mars, what we want, what our desires are, how we take action, how we move towards the things that we want. We're like reviewing so much right now, and we're about to have Mercury retrograde, just to add that on top of all of this, to do some more reviewing. But ultimately the last card is celebration. So this is three people, three friends together celebrating life, and I feel like this is the final card. This is the energy that's coming in, and right now it can feel heavy. The last few weeks have been incredibly heavy. We have hopefully grown and transformed so much. It's been a lot to move through, but as we move through it and on the other side, we're now kind of setting ourselves up for a new life and for new relationships and new friendships and new connections, maybe even a new environment, maybe even new work. For you, it can look different for all of us, but this is the energy that's coming. So it's setting up our life in this way so that we can, have more celebration and have more play and incorporate that into our daily lives. This is also ties in with the Sabian symbol for this full moon in Taurus, 14 degrees of Taurus. The Sabian symbol is about playfulness and in incorporating playfulness into your work. And so incorporating that into your day-to-day practice and letting your life be filled with this playfulness, this childlike energy, this joy, because we don't have to continue carrying the heavy shit that we've been carrying. We can choose to put it down. We can first sit with it and move through it and be with the grief for as long as we need to, but just understanding that on the other side there is growth, there is celebration, there is new life that wants to be born. That is the process, the whole point of Scorpio season, right? Scorpio is the one sign in the zodiac that represents change and transformation, and we're right about through the middle of Scorpio season. This full moon taking place at 14 degrees of Scorpio and Taurus. We're about halfway through this season. So Scorpio season, this time of the year, representing literal death, like things dying off, things changing, and as above, so below, as within, or whatever is external is also happening internally, right? So we see this happening, the leaves, things are changing, and we're going through the same alchemical process. We're moving through this transformative process. We're shedding skin, we're releasing things. This is the season of shadow works. That's what Scorpio represents, is diving into the shadow and doing this work. And so we're in this time right now. 'Tis the season to be going through it, to be feeling all the things, to be shedding old skin, to be releasing what we've needed to let go of. And now on the other side, new life is coming, right? The snake sheds its skin and new life comes. So here we are. That is all for now. I hope that this is helpful and supports you. And if you can connect with this energy, I'd love to hear it. I'd love to hear what's going on for you and how you're feeling this show up in your life. And I hope everybody has a beautiful full moon in Taurus. Taurus being the sign about grounded inner stability, inner security, being unshakable within themselves despite what's going on around them. So I hope that for all of us that we can connect into that energy with this full moon and make the most of what the planets are doing. All right, if you'd like to work with me, here is my site. You can reach out to me there.